Hello chess fans, this is Rick from Chess to Impress with the first video on the 2017 Blitz World Championships. We finished the Rapid, we had 3 days and 15 rounds of Rapid. Vishwanathan Anand was the winner, and it is followed immediately by 2 days of Blitz. A total of 21 rounds, 11 on day 1 and 10 on day 2, with 3 minutes plus a 2-second increment per player per game. And defending champion Sergey Karjakin is on top after day 1 with 9 points out of 11. And we see there Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, the French Grandmaster, in second place. We didn't see him in the top table in the Rapid, but he's doing very well in the Blitz. Peter Friedler did great in the Rapid and is doing great in the Blitz. There you see there are 3 Chinese Grandmasters, Wang Hao, Ding Liren and Zhu Yangji. And the Vietnamese Grandmaster Le Quang Liem is in 7th place, Mamedyarov in 8th, Kraftschiv in 9th, and the Armenian Grandmaster Andriasian in 10th. Where's Magnus Carlsen? Well, after day 1 he's in 20th position. And where's Anand, the new Rapid World Champion? He's in 21st position. But still, all to play for, 10 more rounds on day 2. You see smiling Sergey Karjakin there. He was asked by the FIDE press officer after day 1 what his most favorite game was from game 1. And he said his game against the young 15-year-old Russian Grandmaster Esipenko. And let's have a quick look at that game. B3 was played by Karjakin, who played white. Esipenko was black. Black played E5, and by the way, Esipenko beat Karjakin in the Rapid section of this World Championship, so it was time for revenge. Bishop B2, Knight C6, E3, Knight F6, Bishop B5. White is now threatening to take on C6, and then on E5, that pawn will then be unprotected. So black is protecting it with Bishop D6. He could also have played D7, D6, but this is also a move that has been played a lot. It's a theoretical move. Knight E3 looks a bit weird, but this knight wants to go to C4 to put more pressure on the E5 pawn. And Knight A5 is the main move to cover the C4 square, but Esipenko decides on E4. Knight C4 anyway, Bishop E7, Bishop takes C6, D takes C6, Karjakin decides to give up the bishop pair. Knight E2 developing. Both players castled, and C5. Knight G3, Rook E8, and now an instructive move from Karjakin. This pawn on E4 is hindering the development of White's center, and Karjakin tries to solve this problem with F3, putting pressure on the E4 pawn. Esipenko decided to take, Queen takes. Nice pressure now over the f-file from White's heavy pieces, and Rook f8 in a blitz game, a very good move, proactively defending the f7 pawn with White having that half open file to work with. E4 from Karjakin, Bishop G4 hitting the Queen, Queen stepped back, Bishop back to E6, D3, Knight G4 hitting the Queen again, Queen stepped up, B5 hitting the knight, knight went to A5, wants to come to this nice square on C6, Bishop F6, and that bishop was taken, knight takes back, A4, A6 defending the B5 pawn, and Queen E3 attacking this pawn on C5. Knight D7 protects the pawn on C5. There jumps White's knight into Esipenko's position, hitting the Queen. Queen went all the way to H4. And Knight F5 hits the Queen again. So Esipenko decided to take on F5. And there comes the Rook. White's pieces are infiltrating into Black's position. White is better here. Rook A8 from Esipenko. And here a mistake, a blunder. But of course in a blitz game we have to forgive even these top grandmasters everything. Rook D5 was played by Sergey Karjakin, and if you want to play better, then the 2016 challenger for the classical world title, then you can find the refutation of this move. What Karjakin could have played, what the computer gives as the best option, is a takes b5, and after a takes b5 bring the rook into a7, and now another piece is infiltrating black's position. But rook d5, have you found the refutation in the meantime? Well, the refutation is queen f6. Yes, white is attacking black's knight with his last move, but with this move, queen f6, black is attacking the rook and also the knight. If you take the knight, then queen takes a1 check, wins in exchange, and if you don't, then after, let me get rid of those arrows, after queen f6, your knight on c6 is hanging, and your rook on a1 is hanging. If you save the rook, black will take on c6, and then this knight will be protected. Esipenko did not find this move, he did not find queen f6, he played queen g4. Queen g3 from Karjakin, eyeing up the c7 pawn. And if you swap the queens, let's look at that variation, h takes, and then for example, if you play knight f6, then black takes on c5. And if you don't do that, but play, for example, rook e6, of course your knight is still hanging, but with rook e6 you can counter-attack white's knight. Then there is a takes b5, a takes b5, and rook a6, and this is very good for white as well. After queen g3, Esipenko decided not to take the queen, he played queen e6. But now the c7 pawn goes, knight f6, and another pawn goes, rook takes c5, that's two pawns in the pocket for Karjakin. Esipenko played king h8, he wants to play rook c8, hitting the queen, but with the king on g8 that would fail to this fork on e7. That's why he played king h8. After king h8, Karjakin played knight d4, hitting black's queen. Queen went to g4, knight back to f3. Now rook c8 as planned. The queen went to d6, have to keep protecting the rook on c5. And Esipenko, probably in terrible time trouble, took on c5, and that was a mistake, because white does not have to take back. He can take on f8 first with check, winning a full rook. Here Esipenko resigned, because after knight g8, which is the only move, then white takes on c5 and is now a full rook up and a few pawns as well. So Karjakin got his revenge against Esipenko, and as said, he went on to take the lead after day one with the wonderful score of 9 points out of 11 games. Will Sergey Karjakin still be smiling after day 2 of the 2017 Blitz World Championships and retain his Blitz title? We will see, and I will tell you about it on the Chess to Impress channel. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the Chess to Impress channel. Please leave a comment. You also may want to check out my Chess to Progress channel. The link is in the description box. This is Rick for Chess to Impress. Thank you for watching.